Hi guys, today I found a new post from a user named No Bread for Me. He has a question about his 95-year-old grandfather who is running out of money. Basically, the post is that uh, his grandfather is living in Northern California at 95 years old, owns his house free and clear, and owns a few commercial lots and is under 24/7 in home care, in home nurse care. Um, at a just on a snapshot, what he's saying is that he has an income which is a Social Security, and he's got a nurse care which is running about $15,000 to $20,000 per month, which I never thought about that, but that's a lot of money. But also it's 24/7 care, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Uh, Assets, again, the house is worth about $1 million. Four commercially zoned lots worth about $250,000 to $300,000 each. So I guess $1 million to $1.2 million. Um, the problem is that I guess one of his one of his daughters are pushing for the reverse mortgage just because of the cost of end of life care, and his mom is thinking about maybe doing a HELOC to bridge the gap for the next couple of years, and then um, pull out maybe another $500,000 for another 5 years, if anything. Um, and he asks any advice on timing these things will be helpful. If HELOC will take 6 months, lot sale will take a year, reverse mortgage will take about 15 minutes, and you're sold. Also, do you own the house? Do you even own the house still with the reverse mortgage? So I can kind of say a couple of things. One, I'm not an expert on HELOCs or reverse, but I can tell you that chances are when you're looking into getting a HELOC done, um, one of the things is going to be the income, right? Unless someone like cosigns and stuff like that, there's going to be a limitation on how much of a line of credit you're going to be able to get just because the income is at only the Social Security income. I think that's what I read somewhere on one of his follow-up posts. Um, and so yes, the line of credit, you have a ton of equity because it's $1 million property, but you're not gonna get an access to the entire thing just because the where the income is. You're only gonna be able to get very very little, if any, because of that. Same thing what somebody mentioned about a refinance. Obviously, there's a limit to how much you're gonna get just because of the income that's there involved. Now, unless either one of your aunt or your mom kind of co-signs with you, then or maybe you can co-sign with them. Maybe with the higher income, maybe you're getting that higher access to more of that money. And you mentioned that it could take about 6 months. I don't know if the HELOC will take 6 months. That sounds like an extraordinarily long period. Uh, Lot sales will take about a year. If you price it right, and if it's in the right zone, right lot, right location, I'm sure it won't take a year to sell. But it is a lot, so maybe you would have to find like the right buyer for it. Uh, so that's that. Now the thing with the reverse mortgage, he said it's gonna take 15 minutes of your time, and so I don't think it's gonna take 15 minutes of your time. Maybe 15 minutes to talk to a loan officer, but I don't think it will take 15 minutes for you to get the access to the loan. Which my understanding is, and again, it's also another type of line of credit, and you can kind of withdraw it as such. Except the only difference is that you don't actually have to pay it back. I think it kind of added to the balance to it. Now, of course, when you look at a cost perspective, I believe the HELOC will be lower cost just because, again, typically I think the costs are very very low, and a lot of times they actually the lender will actually give you credit for the cost. It's a lot of it, anyways. Not all of it, but a lot of it that will help you cover it. So your cost will be like minimal. Whereas the reverse, I think, is like a full blown thing where you have to do that. You definitely still own the house. What the reverse is my understanding. You still own the house as yours. It's just like any other loan. You just have a lien on the house. Um, But the difference here, I believe, is that, you know, with the reverse, they will give you the line of credit, but I don't think that the income plays that major role in it. I do believe, just based on his age and the amount of equity that you have in the house, will be suffice for you to get the access to that. And I would think, because a lot of people mention about, you know, you guys running out of money, and obviously that's the ultimate question, is the running out of the money, right? And I don't know what other expenses are there. Obviously there are utilities, there are some other stuff that your grandfather has to pay for, which is not mentioned here. I'm guessing you didn't include it in it because I guess his Social Security is more than sufficient to cover those costs. But whether that's the case or not, I think in this particular case, reverse is the best option, because we want to try to ensure that the quote unquote the funds doesn't run out, unless you're able to kind of sell the property, the 4 commercial zone lots, with the 1 million, 1.2 million, you know, after the fees and stuff like that. I guess you can kind of walk away, you know, in taxes and all. I don't know how much you guys can walk away, but, you know, if you can make that happen real quick, maybe that's an option. But even so, I think just because you guys live in California, after the taxes and all, I just don't know. I think it's going to be sufficient enough where, you know, I think you guys have to nevertheless get into something like a reverse at some point again, unless, you know, the selling of the commercial zone lots would happen really quick, and that's sufficient to cover for the next, you know, 5+ years. I just don't know. I think somebody mentioned that, you know, they had enough money for their grandpa or grandmother for 4 years, and then the gentleman ended up living 5 years, right? Which is not funny, but funny at the same time, where, you know, you were short by a year financially, which is, you know, no, you know, obviously you want you want the family member to live as long as you can. They can. It's just that, you know, shortcoming. I guess the story was that, you know, they didn't think it all through. They thought he wasn't gonna make it, but he did, which is, you know. So that's what that is. I hope I wasn't being rude by, you know, saying that or laughing at that. But yeah, I think in this case, I think the reverse mortgage is the best option, just because of the circumstance. And I would have never thought, because I guess I never done the math, I would have never thought that it will take, you know, $20,000 just for the nurse care at home, right? It's not like I'm going to another facility to live and things like that at all. For somebody to take care of me at my house, in my old age, it's gonna cost $20,000 per month. I know there were a lot of people saying, if it comes to that point, you know, just kill me or let me die, just because I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. But hope this helps. Thank you guys. Bye.